Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Stag Voiceover. My name is Neil Glasgow. It's been about a week or so since I posted a video. My week's just been a bit hectic. I normally do 2 a week, so I apologise for being late, but getting back to it now. So, in this video, I wanted to address some things that have been coming up in some of the questions and comments that you very lovely people have been sending me. And I had a comment from someone just saying, how do I make sure I get hired? And it's a really broad question, that really. But I think I've got an answer for you. So let's get into it. So, how do you make sure you get hired for the auditions? Now, what this is not going to be is do this and you always get hired. Believe me, if I knew the answer to that, I would be much richer than I am. However, I can give you something that genuinely will help. It really will help. So, I work with some people that are just starting out. I support some people that are just starting out. Not coaching yet. Don't come to me with that. I appreciate it. People have approached me. I'm not coaching yet. But I'm helping out where I can. And one of the things that comes up time and time again is I'm doing this read and it's not working. Or I'm doing, I've submitted 20 auditions and nobody's getting back to me, or something of that ilk. And this is what you need to learn. This is what you need to practice. Practice, underline. And it's simply this. Does it sound authentic? And now what I'm not talking about is accents. That's a different video, which I am going to cover. I'm going to cover that. But sounding authentic. Now, let me give you an example. I've talked about doing e-learning modules where I'm literally reading off serial numbers. 26 letter, word, hexadecimal serial numbers. And I still need to make that sound engaging. I need to make that sound like it's the most exciting thing I've ever read. And I need to make it sound as if I'm the one who wrote it. As if this is my product. As if I am the one going, this is so amazing, you really need to get on board with it. And that translates across whether you're doing e-learning, whether you're doing auditions on commercial work or documentary work or whatever it is. It needs to sound real. And what you hear a lot nowadays is they're looking for that conversational read. And that is kind of into that, does it sound real, does it sound authentic motif. So when you're having a conversational read, what they're talking about there is, imagine you're just having a chat with your friend, your spouse, your mum, your dad, whatever. You're not going to go in and say, Mum, have you heard about this wonderful new product? It's called meh meh meh. It has this amazing thing. Would you not like to see? You're not going to talk like that to your mum. Mum, have you heard about this? It's amazing. We used that thing for a while, and do you know what? I was spending a fortune on it, and now I found this thing. I saw it online, and I'm now using it. Do you know what? It's actually pretty good. That's more in line with the way that you would speak to someone that you're familiar with. And the authentic element really comes into if you're listening to a bit of audio, and you'll know this, if you're watching this channel, you're just starting out, or you've been in the industry for years, you know that when you attune your ear to voiceover, when you listen to the adverts that are out there, when you listen to the podcasts and all that stuff, you start to hear the person reading the script. You start to hear where they're putting an odd breath, an odd pause. You can hear the edits, you can hear the clicks, you can hear so many things when you start listening. Now, the average Joe, average Jane, never heard that, average Jane, is not going to really pick up on that because they never do. But you as the voiceover artist are working with professionals. You're working with people who do this day in and day out, audio engineers, creative directors, producers. They're looking for that seamless read. They're looking for that person who it sounds like they're having a chat with someone next door. And whether you're screaming that aliens are invading, that the knights are attacking, or, I don't know, the toilet's backed up. It needs to sound like it's the most important thing that's happening to you right now, and it needs to sound like it is real, that it's not out of context. It sounds like the character, person, persona that you are trying to get across. And this is where a lot of people struggle. And believe me, I've struggled with it in the past. I still struggle with it sometimes now. I do multiple takes to make sure. And that is one thing that you can do. I was working with someone yesterday who was doing their first LA commercial for a toy company. Think Toys R Us, but not quite, but that sort of thing. And she read the first take, and it sounded okay. It really did. It sounded okay. And I said, okay, just keep reading. And every time you read, do something different. Put a different inflection on, put a different thing, make it sound natural. And we went through maybe about 13 takes of this. It was about a 10-second long thing. About 13 takes of it, and there was always one word that it sounded kind of creepy, really. She sort of lowered her voice weirdly to say this word. And I think it was something about being on screen. And I said, you know what? Just for S's and giggles, lean into that. Read the whole thing like you're this crooked old crone. It's a toy company. It's for kids. Do it like it's a crooked old thing. Lean into that storytelling element. And she burst out laughing, and she read it, and then she read a couple of more things. And you know what? By the time that she got to the last take, it was so natural. It just flowed. We sent it over to the agent in LA. Loved it. And it goes on from there. Now, that's not always going to be the thing. But if we'd sent the first take, the third take, the 10th take might not have been what was needed. But that we played with it, we made it hers. She made it her own. It sounded authentic. And that's the message that I want to just really drive home in this rambling sort of way. You need to make the content that you're reading sound like the person owns it. You have to own it. You don't always have to read as you. I do lots of different things, different YouTube channels and all the other stuff that I do. I have to lean into whoever the character is that the audience is expecting to hear. I worked with a podcast the other week where it's called Everyday Scottish. Check it out. It's two guys, two working class guys having a bit of banter on a podcast. And they approached me to do some bits on their podcast. And I had to essentially become a caricature of myself. My accent was dialed up to 11. But it sounded right for the context of that client. And again, I'm just driving this home. You need to make sure that you sound authentic. And if you don't, I promise you, guarantee you, 9.999 times out of 10, someone will hear that and go, sounds wooden, doesn't sound right. I'm not hiring that person. And I'm not going to come back to that person. And you're going to keep doing the same things over and over again, auditioning, hoping, sending you stuff out, and it's just this repeat cycle that isn't going to improve. Now, you can improve by either practicing yourself, you can go and hire a coach, you can go to acting classes, improv classes, just reading out loud, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks. It's all learning. It genuinely is. It's all learning. There are forums out there that you can put your information out there. How do I sound? Please, rate me. Most people are very helpful with that. I'm very happy to help out where I can. But ultimately, that's the big message. Try to make yourself sound as natural as possible. If you found this video helpful at all, give me a like and subscribe, share it everywhere. I really appreciate that. And remember, you absolutely can be a voiceover artist. I'll see you in the next video.